Rick, do you think there's a rift in the Lakers locker room?
Obviously, there's a rift in the locker room. Dwight Howard, as you noted, has reservations about playing. Avery Bradley wants concessions before they play, and LeBron James just wants to play. Now, not every guy on every team in every locker room thinks the same way. There are disagreements. There are differing views. The reason that I feel we need to pay attention to this is because of the personal nature of it and the fact that we're going into a situation where the mental tenacity, toughness, and collective mindset is going to be more important than ever. The coaches and players that I've talked to have said that's going to be the biggest challenge here. Is everybody together? Is everybody on the same page? And while this doesn't have to do with basketball directly, it does have to do with the feelings about playing and a very personal, visceral stand on a very important issue. And so can they overcome it? Yes. But is there a rift that needs to be resolved? There's no question that these guys need to get together and have a meeting of the minds and say, this is why we're playing, and we're all in and playing for this reason.
You know, Rick, I'm going to agree with you on this perspective. Rift, creative differences, difference of opinions, all kind of fall in the same thing, but it's all about how you communicate this. I think where the rift came in at is that George Floyd's death was right at the end of May. Okay, I think May 25th. The vote for to resume the season, I think was around June 5th. So that gives you 11 days to be able to rectify, to throw out anything you have in regards to not being comfortable with the plan before it goes to vote. Okay, so the player reps voted and approved restarting the season. And at no time that I'm aware of did this come up in conversation in these negotiations to restart the season. See, my thing is this. The message and the platform is great. You had 11 days to bring and broach this point during these negotiations before everybody agreed, but it wasn't brought up. So then afterwards, now you come back and say, well, players shouldn't play, okay? That's where the whole thing comes in. It's like, okay, a few days ago, we were all on the same page. What changed? And if it did change, just give me the heads up. Let me know what you're thinking and what's going on so we can talk about it before it looks like we're disjointed, not only as a team as the Lakers, more importantly, as a union, because this puts the executive director, Michelle, in a tough situation because she negotiated a deal with the NBA, and a few days later, it looks like the union is not on the same page. So it's also a rift within the Lakers situation, but keep in mind, it's also a rift within the union because Kyrie Irving is a vice president. He's not just a player's rep. He's right underneath Chris Paul. So we have these two dynamics going on because, to me, it was a lack of communication. And with that lack of communication, now you have a lack of trust.
You got me on the fence right here. But I don't see the rift. I disagree with you guys. I don't see the crack. I don't see the split. I don't see the separation in what a team is and the team concept. You got to understand what's happening here. I just see guys who share the same opinion on something, but a different course of action and expressing that opinion. And what's so different about that than any other day on a team? I just disagree with you guys. Like they're disagreeing in terms of what to do. We don't have a rift. We're not monolithic as a team in terms of what we think, whether it's a real issue or just some little minor stuff. Coach stands in front of us and says, hey, practice tomorrow is at 9 a.m. There's guys who are like, man, that's too early. There's guys who are saying, man, I wish it was later, and I wish it was earlier. Like, let's get it out the way. But we always find a way to move forward, even though inside that team concept, there may be a difference of opinion. LeBron James is smart. This is a classic vet move. His silence is not showing any issue with these guys. It's him saying, I'm going to pick my battles. because we actually are sharing our heart on this situation, but my body's going to do something different and maximize my platform and play basketball because I can chew gum and walk at the same time. He's going to play basketball and enhance his opportunity to broadcast a message to create change. So in this situation, I just see LeBron saying, I'm not going to punch down. If I say anything, I know how that's going to be taken, and we will truly have a rift then. So I think LeBron is just sitting back saying, let these guys work this out. And the NBA just did him a favor. They said June 24th, declare if you're in the bubble or out the bubble. Mm-hmm. LeBron doesn't have to be the enforcer of anything. He just has to wait to June 24th and then call up J.R. Smith and say, yo, bruh, we're missing a couple. Need you, big dog.
But here's the difference, though, Marcellus. You make this point about not being a rip. If I don't want to go to practice, you want to go to practice. I don't like what's on the plane. I don't like the way this play is being ran. That's one thing. The difference here is that you got two key guys on this team that's talking about not playing, not competing for a championship. That's a whole different conversation compared to maybe disagreeing on practice time. That is totally different. So that division right there is going to impact the ability for the Lakers from a depth perspective if they choose not to play. Now, if they choose to play, what kind of attitude are they actually going to bring to the table? Is it going to be real and authentic? 'Cause I still believe Dwight Howard and Avery Bradley, with the platform they have of the NBA and playing, and especially if baseball is not going to push forward, they can still push the agenda on what they want to get accomplished with a partnership with the NBA during the time in which they're playing. Because they're always going to have a microphone and camera in their face, whether it's at practice, at the game, media sessions, walking around, whatever it may be. So to me, one, do they choose to play? And if they choose to play, what kind of attitude do they bring to the table that can either, one, help the team, two, either hurt the team?
Okay, Jimmy, let's say this, and we don't know this, and I assume this has occurred. LeBron privately has talked to these guys to hear it out, to talk to your teammate. Like, everything doesn't live on social media. Everything doesn't live in reports. Sometimes it's just, hey, man, how are you really feeling? What are you really doing? What's the situation at hand for you? Talk to me emotionally. Talk to me naked emotionally. I want to see it. I want to hear it. And then let's see what's our game plan from there. We don't know that. But I can assume if that occurs, they're going to be able to iron this out as a team in terms of agreement. Like, you can be still feeling that way and standing on that side, but let's walk together and go get this job done. And this job right now is a dual mindset in terms of trying to create the change and also going out there and trying to win the championship. That said, LeBron James also is going to talk back to those guys and say, look, let me tell you something. I created a show called Survivor's Remorse. And I used to love this show. I don't know if it was critically acclaimed or not, but it was amazing. A young basketball player who made it. And then they just showed all the issues that come from actually making it, surviving the neighborhood and accomplishing your goals. And one thing I noticed about that show that I see in real world society is that there's just too much emphasis on staying down, being down. When I was in that situation of being down, I wanted people to stay up and use their resources and their alliances and grab all of those resources and bring them back. Don't show me that you are with me by trying to stay down with me. And I think that LeBron will talk to them in the creation of that show and having it executed will let them know, hey, man, you do the best for what you're trying to accomplish by going as high as you can, not trying to aim back down at the people, taking your ball and going home and hoping that people still care about the message the same.
Marcellus, you said that not everything lives on social media. Kind of feel like LeBron does live on social media. We know most of what he's doing and thinking via social media. And if he had not said anything on this subject and was just laying low, I would be with you on that. But he clearly was instrumental in the negotiations in bringing back this idea that we're going to play and restart. And he hasn't said anything since then And we've only had a report out of New York that he was anti-Kyrie and wasn't on the call last Friday. So there's that rift, and Avery Bradley, Lakers teammate, is obviously on Team Kyrie. So the other element here is the fact that this is now public. So whatever happens with Avery Bradley or Dwight Howard or LeBron James, if they all come back and play, those questions are going to be asked. If one of them doesn't play, it's going to be asked. Look, Kawhi, Paul George, Montrezl Harrell, Pat Bev, they could all have a difference of opinion. They could be in the same boat. Any number of teams could. But it's not public fodder, and LeBron James isn't attached to it. So if nothing else, this is now a subject and a distraction that the Lakers are going to have to deal with on some level. And that, whether you want to call it a rift or a disagreement, it's not a positive for the Lakers in their quest to win a championship.
What's amazing is us discussing the rift created a rift between us. I do not want to deal with you guys going forward. I don't know what y'all talking about. Go Clippers.
We can agree to disagree.
Absolutely.
There it is. Hey, a wounded Lakers team helps my Clippers anyway. Hey, y'all figure this out.